Huh, what? No, 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 wait. Don't go on.
Greetings, sentient beings. This broadcast is not intended for children. There will be strong language and adult themes.
Oh,
So this is National Cereal Day.
oh boy.
Well,
Yum.
that's a kicks in the pants, hey?
I like to get the Cookie Crisp and just eat it out of the box plain.
Would you like to sugar my pop?
Yeah, I mostly can only eat cereal dry because I don't do well with the milk.
What is this? Oh, it's a camera battery. Okay.
Oh boy, a cat all day. That's wonderful.
Yeah. Mage, you were just mentioning about the labeling restrictions about healthy food. I had heard a bit about that last night.
Yeah, apparently a lot of these cereal companies are wanting to sue over it, saying since they won't be able to label most of their products as healthy.
Well, maybe if they take a little of that quarter pound of sugar in each box out.
Yeah. Well, it's something that a lot of, companies that do the prepackaged food in general are having a problem with.
Yeah, it's not just cereal; it's for a lot of the prepackaged foods.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Am I all full of it, or well, we know I'm full of it. But I thought I recently saw something about sugar isn't as unhealthy as a lot of people say it is. Has anybody seen that?
No, but was that produced by the Sugar Council?
No. I forget who it was produced by, but it was definitely not a sugar advocate.
Were you watching the Adam Raguso thing about what he was saying about added sugars as opposed to natural sugars?
That could be it. That could be it.
Yeah. Well, basically, what he was saying was that the sugar was being blamed for it, but the real difference was just the concentration of sugar in prepackaged food. Whereas if you were only going for natural sugar like fruit, then along with the sugar, you were getting a lot of other useful stuff like fiber.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, the fruits can actually have as much sugar as you would get it for the artificial stuff, or sometimes even more.
Yeah, that's what he was saying, but just due to the extra bulk in that too, that it was just hard for people to eat enough sugar that way to, cause the kind of health problems you get from eating things like cereal and candy, where you're just getting tons of sugar in it.
Okay.
So, Perp, what's your favorite cereal?
I like the classic Life.
All right. Somebody after my own heart.
Yep. My cat Guapo loved it too. Except I would like put my bowl down in the living room because I was gonna eat watching TV, and I'd go back in the kitchen to get the rest of the stuff. And he would steal the cereal out of the bowl, but only as long as it was dry. Once I put the milk on it, he lost interest.
Oh, he's no fun.
I give my son Conyer Cheerios as a treat. The plain ones, not anything with coated or anything like that.
Okay.
And failing that, if I can't get a hold of those, I'll give him the Kellogg's stuff.
I think you kids already know that I'll pour a bowl of Life cereal and then I'll pour the milk over it, wait half an hour, and then eat the resulting mush.
Why don't you just use a straw?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so Jenny, what's your favorite?
I don't really have a favorite. There's a number of different milk-based type kind of cereals that I like. I will never eat hot cereal, oatmeal, or wheat. What are those? They suck. They're horrible. Look, I like Great Nuts Flakes. Or not grape nuts, grape nuts. I like. Well, I used to like wheat checks, but they've changed a lot, and they're not as good now. Shredded wheat. I like shredded wheat.
Oh, I haven't had it.
And I'm always happy if I get a little frosted flakes once in a while.
Oh, I've got the frosted flakes over here.
Tony's pretty hot.
Yeah. One thing I discovered recently, they come in bags now. Let's see what we've got over here. How much is in here? 39.5 ounces of frosted flakes in this bag. And I'll sit here and I'll stick my hand in there. And I'll pull it.
Is
What?
Kellogg's doing that now?
Yeah.
Okay. We often got the multi-meal cereals in the bags. They're a lot cheaper.
And
Yeah,
it's every bit as good.
It's amazing. They have the boxes and the bags, which are almost identical weights, but there's something like $1 difference in the price.
Yeah, the reason for that dollar difference is with
I have a complaint
with
about
some cereals. Yeah. Well, just as commenting.
Why is it that in my entire lifetime
on some cereals, the packaging actually.
We're getting people talking over here.
Go ahead, Jenny.
Go ahead, Jenny.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
You were doing it to me this time because I was still talking when you started. But with some cereals, the packaging actually costs them more than the product does.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Jenny.
I would want to see numbers on that. That sounds like quite a claim. The one thing I don't understand about cereals is how is it possible that for my entire years of living, they have not been able to figure out a proper way to close the top and how to limit how much glue they put on it.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable.
I have wondered why.
Spoon, but they can't open a cereal box.
Yeah. Well, again, with the multi-meal cereals, they come in Ziploc bags.
Yeah, put them in a Ziploc bag. That makes sense. Though, with my mom, back in when I was little, well, she tried the whole get the generic cereal, put it in the name brand box, and I actually picked up that it was different.
Okay.
She tried that, pulled the boy. Yeah. Here you go. This tastes funny.
Aunt Jura said she couldn't be with us, but she wanted to send us a selection for our stream.
Chocolate?
Oh my God.
Cheerio. Yeah. I tried that. I would try that.
I would never try that. Ugh.
Wait a minute. I'm not looking. What are we talking about
here? Sugar rush.
Chocolate
peanut butter Cheerios.
Yeah, Aunt Jura actually said that this one is her new favorite.
Yeah,
but then they have fruity Cheerios.
Oh my God! Why are they wrecking that cereal?
Yeah.
Well,
not so much on the fruity
isn't
stuff.
Fruity Cheerios just Fruit Loops? What would be the difference?
Yeah.
I was just going to say, I thought that's what Fruit Loops were for.
Different colors?
Strawberry Cheerios. No, not for me.
And of course, everyone's favorite.
Oh no!
Nice. Oh jeez.
Send that to Seth Andrews.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure found all these for sale online.
What, does Seth Andrews have a thing against pumpkin spice or a thing for pumpkin spice?
Can't they just make Cheerio flavored Cheerios?
Well, they do.
Hey, Nerdy, I'm really interested in that sort of chemistry. I don't know, maybe I should have taken a chemistry degree and got into producing artificial flavorings, because that sort of thing, it really, really sparks my interest.
Well, some of those artificial flavorings is effective chemically, no real different than the natural stuff.
Mm-hmm. What
Sorry,
really
folks.
amazes
I haven't
me,
really had a chance to watch the side chat, so
what really amazes me is the artificial sweeteners. Okay, like Sweet and Low or something like that. I don't know if any of you have ever tried this. I'm really weird, so I try strange shit. Um, when you put just a little bit of the artificial sweetener in your coffee, it tastes sweet. But when you open the packet and throw the whole thing on your tongue, it's bitter. That's really interesting to me how that works.
That is interesting.
well, the chemical strings for the artificial sweeteners are actually very close to plastics, which is why
Okay.
to cats and dogs, plastic bags taste sweet
Oh,
because it's only a couple atoms difference between like the artificial sweeteners and the plastic they use for the grocery bags.
Well, they've always tasted sweet to me too. Plastic bags, I mean.
Yeah, I guess some people, it varies with different people.
Can't say I've ever tasted a plastic bag before to know.
You've never tried one? Well,
Nope, never tried
okay.
one.
You must have one handy. Go try it and report back to us.
I like it.
No, I have to get up to do that.
Wait a minute. Okay, I'm looking over here. Oh,
And
here
Jenny,
we.
I know Jenny was saying you don't like any of the hot cereals.
Nope.
I actually do like oatmeal, with brown sugar and syrup in it.
Oh, yum. Yeah. Or another one I like is oatmeal with butter and salt.
And the horny cat.
Damn cat.
With the oatmeals, I've been getting these single serve ones lately. Because I don't really eat oatmeal all that much, so just get a few single serves for the week works great for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, could you mute the mic while you're chewing?
Yes, please. Some people don't like to listen to people eating.
Oh, what? Oh, you can.
By several people in the side
Oh, I didn't know you could hear the chewing. Okay. Okay.
Yep.
I'll fix that.
Thank you.
In general, it would just help if everybody mutes their mic when they're not talking so we don't have background noise. Hey, Commander.
Orla says slow cooker for oatmeal.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd work.
I've never tried that. Send me
No,
a
I haven't
recipe, will
either.
you?
And I've got a little mini slow cooker that, you could do like just enough for 2 people.
Oh, my.
Commander, if you're in Westchester County, hunt down Cece.
And it's something I used to have years ago. I'm trying to remember what they called it. It looked like an electric coffee mug. You would plug it in and heat the water in it. And used to have one of those when I was in college the first time. and I'd make a can of soup like that or something.
Yeah, it's called a hot pot.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Now I remember.
I also used to have one of those little electric warming plates that was just big enough to set a mug of coffee on, just to keep my teacup warm.
Yeah.
How does a plate of worms keep your coffee warm?
Basically, it's just a little electric heating element. So you set the mug on it and it keeps the mug warm.
Okay, then where do the worms go?
Or the other one I used to have when I was in high school, I had a job as a projectionist, and I would take an immersible heater into the projection room with me and stick it in a coffee mug, and I'd be having soup and coffee while I was showing films.
Why didn't you just put a little shelf on top of the projector? That would have kept it warm.
Yes, it would. Yeah. I tell you, those RCA projectors were amazing pieces of equipment.
Yeah, in high school, I used to sneak into the AV room, and I started doing maintenance on the equipment, so everybody thought I belonged there. I was just having fun taking the equipment apart, and mostly I like to use the overhead projectors since I have no artistic talent. I could do transparency tracings of things off of books and make my own posters that way. But I was always annoyed because the things wouldn't focus right until I spent a couple hours doing maintenance on them. You know, they get banged around and nobody was taking care of them.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody ever asked me how I got in there. They just assumed that if I was in there, some teacher would let me in.
There are some things about those days that I miss.
Well, that was an owie.
Who? What? Where?
I just did an injection. It hurt.
Oh,
Ooh.
you were busy stabbing yourself.
Yeah, sometimes it happens.
Hit a vein or hit a nerve that time?
No, I don't think so.
How do you do
most
that?
of the time you barely feel it.
How do you do that? Is that once daily or every 2 weeks, or what do you got on that?
Every 7 days.
Okay. But sometimes I think of asking for injectables, but I don't know if there are enough problems with supply and stuff like that to set me off of it.
No problems with supply around here.
No, I'm not moving.
I had a supply issue when I was getting mine through Walgreens, and found out that was just Walgreens, that other pharmacies in the city were not having supply issues.
Did you hear the latest out of Walgreens? They're not going
know
to.
what they do now.
They're not going to carry the the one medication that's used for miscarriage. That's also used for abortion.
Oh, right, right.
What
Even
is
in
that,
states that allow it.
86?
Even in states that allow it, they're not going to bring it.
Yeah.
Allow it. And so the state of California, the fourth largest economy on the planet, told Walgreens go shove it up your butt. We're not going to spend a dime with you ever again.
Yay.
And their stock plummeted.
Yeah, I've gotten away from Walgreens ever since they had that policy that an employee can refuse service based on their religion.
Yeah.
Whoa.
You know, if your religion is interfering with your job, you got to get a different job. That's all there is to it.
Well, they went up a little. No.
Walgreens is problematic that way, and I don't know. Is the United States the only place on the planet that will allow bullshit like that? Or, well, I know they're not, but
I don't know, but it sure feels that way, doesn't it?
yeah.
Do you know how long ago
Well-
they got that?
Oh, that was like close to 2 years ago now, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that they had a case of a pharmacist who refused to fill a woman's birth control.
No, I mean the whole Walgreens thing being told to stuff it.
But I really
That
like.
happened today.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense because I'm looking at their stocks right now and I'm seeing a nosedive. And then again, I'm also seeing a nosedive around March 7th, yesterday.
Okay, then it was yesterday. Big deal. I don't have any stock to worry about.
Oh, I just find it interesting. Look at that to see how these nosedived.
How much did the drop amount?
Looks like an entire point.
Oh, that's
Three-
all.
35.52 USD, and it's currently 34.26. It went up a little bit.
That's not
But
enough. Drop more. Drop more.
Well, 1.35, you know, that's like a 3% drop in one day. That is
Mhm.
significant.
it's a 2.25% drop here going to in the past 5 days. That's definitely significant.
Yeah, well, and probably that story hasn't really gotten around a lot yet, so
Yeah.
it might have more effect if that gets more publicity on social media.
Oh.
Yeah, the real problem I had that policy, you know, they said that if an employee can't do it because of their religion, they were excused. And they were saying they just have another employee do it. But if you're someplace like I was in Upper Michigan, there's never going to be a second pharmacist in the store.
Right.
So saying the pharmacist doesn't have to do it if it's against their religion, for some people could mean they'll be driving 50 miles to get it filled.
In my opinion, if your religion prevents you from being able to do your job, you probably shouldn't be in that job.
Mm-hmm.
I agree completely.
Nuh-uh. You all gotta follow my religion because I said so.
Strangely enough, I've been playing REM all day, the "Losing My Religion" song, so that kind of goes along with this. Well, I lost my religion a long time ago. What I don't understand is the mentality that insists that all this is real. I mean, shouldn't you really have a basis for saying that this religion stuff is real before you start basing public policy on it?
Well,
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about that if your followers are numerous enough and dumb enough.
Okay, yeah, she's got a point there.
I would go ignorant rather than dumb. But
Remember, we're talking
Yeah,
about
well-
a religion that persecutes a rape victim and celebrates the rapist.
Yep.
that's more group mentality.
Well, and the Abrahamic religions are pretty much based on controlling people through fear.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something that politicians found is easy to use.
Well, in many much cultures, religion and politics are the same thing anyway.
For most of human history, they were.
Yeah,
This whole idea,
absolutely.
this whole idea of the government being a separate entity from the church is a pretty new concept.
Yeah, pretty much since what, the Enlightenment, I guess. So you're talking only 400
Yeah.
years, maybe.
Yeah, a couple hundred years, give or take. Used to be the church was in charge of everything, and nobody questioned the priest.
Yep.
And that's what the Republicans want to get back to. Is that nobody questions the guy who's making the rules.
And unfortunately, I'm seeing it getting closer and closer by the hour.
Yeah, mostly pushed by the party who says they want small government.
Yes, isn't that amazing?
Any of you hear the little tiny guy at CPAC the other day in his speech about eradicating trans people from the face of the earth?
Oh, that one. Oh, God.
Was the Daily Wire guy?
Yeah, this one scares the hell out of me. It really does, because to me, it appears to be catching on more and more.
Well, that one, and also at CPAC, they had a banner saying that we are all domestic terrorists, and people were applauding that.
What, we trans people?
No, that the Republicans are embracing the label of being the domestic terrorist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, their religious, political, religiosity law is that we're nearing the end times, and they need to put their army together to cause the end of the earth, so that they can all go to heaven and meet Jesus. That isn't there.
So basically, Flavor Aid on a global level.
Okay, then.
Yep, and that's why they don't really care about doing anything about climate, the climate crisis, because I figure that God's going to destroy the whole planet any minute now anyway.
Yeah, that's been for a while. I don't know.
Well, for the last 2,000 years, they've been saying the end of the world's going to come within our lifetime.
I mean, I've said it before, and you people have given me shit for it before, but this is why I'm rather happy that I haven't got that much longer to live. Okay. I mean, I'm 65 years old. I'm not going to make it to 120. So, hopefully I'll be dead before all this bullshit comes to fruition.
Yeah, but I expect I'm going to be around here for another 4 or 5 decades, and then after that, I've got a lot of kids.
Okay.
I feel kind of bad if the planet's completely trashed by the time my kids have kids.
Yeah.
Well, I've got my own ideas as far as kids having kids. Yeah, it's I don't even know why anybody should be having kids anymore anyway, because there are already too many people.
Yeah, well, that's why I didn't add any. I just took on taking care of ones that were abandoned by their fathers.
Okay, then.
This is why they have lowered the age of marriage to 14 in a number of red states, because they want the girls to be breeding at that age, so that they can have more white kids. They think they can repopulate America with just white people.
Yeah.
Oh, that replacement bullshit is, yeah. Oh, God. I remember hearing that shit when I was a kid. That there was the worry that there were too many non-white kids being produced.
I remember in my 7th grade social studies class, Mr. Birmingham going through population numbers and racial numbers and birth rates and things like that. And he announced back then, he says, 50 years from now or so, he says, we're going to be a primarily Hispanic nation.
I haven't got a problem with that.
I don't either.
Yeah, I remember people making that prediction back in the 80s, and I was like, okay, so what?
It's like it's not a white nation. It never was until we got here.
Right.
Mm. Don't.
And
bother me.
especially when the people in Arizona are getting upset by it. Because it's like, Arizona is only part of the U.S. because we stole it from Texas when we went to war.
Okay. Yep. Yep.
Or stole it from Mexico, rather.
Yeah, I get it.
Yep.
I came across a bit of good news this last week. There's this organization that has started to get organized in the last couple of years. It's a bunch of volunteer pilots who will take people who need transport to distant places for transition treatment of whatever sort, for free. They'll fly them there and everything.
That's
Oh,
nice.
They're now going to, or they're talking about now expanding the service to cover all the people who need to get away from one of the whole hate states and get their family to a safe space.
I tell you, it's scary when you think that these things exist. That that they are necessary.
And the second or next piece of good news is that the state of Minnesota has passed now with enough votes to get the bills actually onto the floor and voted on to make Minnesota a sanctuary state.
Okay, I had heard that had passed the House. Did it get through the Senate now?
I don't know. I haven't kept up on it over the last week.
Yeah. Okay, I had heard it passed the House, and the Senate is a majority Democrats, and the governor's a Democrat, so it was all looking like there was a very, very good case for that going.
Now,
and along with that was another bill that would outlaw conversion therapy within the state of Minnesota.
What that means, Diana, is that the state of Minnesota will look at Arkansas and Tennessee and Louisiana and Texas and say, when they demand that we send those people back to their states, fuck off.
Yeah, but that's what I was wondering about, was how far enforcement could go.
They have no enforcement power in a state that says fuck off, because that's all extradition type stuff, and extradition can only happen between two agreeing parties.
Yeah, well, some states are trying to pass stuff like that they could prosecute something that happened in another state, which is clearly completely unconstitutional. But also we have a Supreme Court who has shown that legal precedent means nothing to them.
Right. Yeah, it's whatever they happen to want at the moment.
Except the legal precedent from 1650. that they'll go back to, but nothing since 17 or 1800.
And I remember getting shit from my ex years ago, and it's coming to fruition now, where I'm seeing the law being whatever the lawyers want it to be at the moment. And it could be completely opposite things within 12 hours of each case.
There's also another little piece of good news. People are trying to start get active. There's a bunch of discussion going around. Mostly I'm seeing it floating around on TikTok. People advocating to put together a long-term protest against the anti-drag states that all these cis women wear body clothes like a queen, drag queen would, and
Ooh,
get arrested for it.
hey, I kind of like the sound of that.
I like it if you can't be enough women who can stand up to do it.
Well, that's the trick. It would be best worked if it was in droves. If there was lots of women who would do it all at once. Go ahead.
Yeah, it would be nice if you could get several thousand women in the body clothes marching down, I don't know, Pennsylvania Avenue or something,
Well, they want to do it in each of the states that is banning drag people. Fine. Now get rid of us. We're not drag, but you think we are because of what we're wearing. Now come and arrest us with your puny little law.
Because, I like the meme that's been going around, where you've got Bugs Bunny and you've got Lemon and Tony Curtis and the whole thing like this, and then you've been entertained by drag for decades.
Yeah.
What's the problem?
Well, and one of the weirdest comments I've gotten since I started transitioning is, "You'll never pass. You have your mom's nose."
Think about that one for a while.
Yeah, and no, I realize this, that by most of the criteria that these people say that they can always tell who's trans, I think most of them would clock my mother.
Okay, then.
She is not traditionally feminine.
Oh my! I remember my landlord gave me that line at one point. He said, "You're a good-looking guy, but you're going to make a horrible girl." And it's like, okay, fine. Boy, I chased everybody away.
No, I'm eating here too, so I'm muting my mic.
Okay. Oh, I gotta pour a cup of coffee. Jesus.
Why don't you Rich a cup of coffee?
That would be nice. I like that.
Well,
Of
considering
course,
how
if you're rich, you'd have somebody bringing it to you, I guess. So,
considering how expensive coffee is nowadays and everything else,
My
to be rich.
word. Who was it within the last couple of days or something that was saying something about $7 for a dozen eggs?
Yeah.
Yeah, that I think that started to come down a bit here, but at one point in the grocery store here, eggs were over $7.50 a dozen.
And that's what if I wanted something cheap to eat or something, I'd reach for eggs, and I can't do that anymore.
Yep. They used to be what you ate if you couldn't afford meat.
Yeah. Proto meat.
Still got cardboard boxes.
There you go.
Beans and rice and some B12.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, tuna being $1.50 a can. I remember when the tuna used to be 3 or 4 cans for $1.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I used to buy tuna as a supply for hurricanes.
I remember when grocery store brand putty bread was 5 loaves for $1.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and these days you can't even buy just a can of regular soup for $1.
Yeah,
not even the condensed tomato soup is over $1 a can.
I remember, 3 cans for $1 for Campbell's condensed soup.
Hell, even a couple of ramen was $1.18 last I looked.
Now this is interesting. I'm looking at Squalmart here online, and allegedly you can get a dozen jumbo eggs for $2.25.
Well, I knew they were coming back down. I actually haven't looked at them in a couple of weeks, so
I may have to order some groceries.
Yeah. I guess the farms have kind of recovered now.
Yeah,
I
The
would-
reason they had gotten so ridiculous was they were being swept with the bird flu, or so
Yes.
that was their claim. So they basically had to purge a couple 100,000 hens and wait for them to be replaced.
You should keep an eye on any Quick Trip station you have nearby, because they've always used eggs as their loss leader. And before all this happened, you were buying eggs at 99 cents a dozen.
Yep. Yeah, I know about Quick Trip.
Oh, I don't know these people. What is it? A convenience store chain?
Yeah, gas station.
Yeah.
They don't have them by you, just the Midwest.
Yeah, I don't think they're in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
They
No,
operate in about a dozen states across the Midwest.
over here they have places called Wawa. It's like, what?
Oh yeah, I've got one of those, Romney.
Also, Quick Trip in the Midwest is spelled with a K. There's a Quick Trip in the South that's a completely separate company.
Oh, okay. No, I'm looking over here, and it's the jumbo for $2.25. And I like getting the jumbo eggs because I don't know, maybe it's geographical, maybe something else. But the chance of getting multiple yolks increases exponentially as you go to the jumbo eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the volume of the yolk, 2 small yolks, is the same as 1 big one. So.
Yeah, Ox is saying that in North Carolina they're still paying $6 a dozen.
Wow.
Haven't looked, so I get my eggs straight from the chickens.
I love all these silly little urbanites who are going, oh, I'm going to go get some chickens. That'll take care of the egg price. Well, let's see. How many chickens you're going to have to get enough to feed your family in the morning each day? You're going to keep about 25 chickens, are you?
No, you don't really need that many. I mean, I only have 2, and they give me more than enough, just for myself.
Yeah, my sister keeps a dozen chickens, and she says each chicken basically gives you 1 egg every other day.
Yep.
Depends on the age too.
Well, there's spring chickens, and there's old goats.
Apparently,
and they become dinner.
Say again, hon?
Apparently, keeping chickens in the backyard had become a trendy thing of the wealthy people in California. That everybody was installing chicken coops for a while.
Oh, it's all over. People do it all over the place. There's some people here, but they also have a few hundred acres to do that on. So, because wherever you put it, you're going to absolutely destroy the yard.
Well, they don't. The space you need to put a chicken in isn't all that much. Not really.
I wish I could keep chickens because I like the eggs right out of the cloaca. My ex had a cousin who had a chicken ranch, and when her father would come to visit us, he would bring 5 or 6 dozen eggs with him. And God, those collected within the last couple days, and oh my God, those eggs were good.
I like the blue eggs myself. They're the pretty ones.
The who?
The blue eggs.
The blue eggs.
Different varieties of chickens lay different color eggs. Yeah, they come in blues and greens.
Yeah, I haven't seen the blues. I've seen the greens. Yeah, and of course,
brown and speckled and white. Yep.
And the ones I have, the Easter eggers I have will lay sort of almost a bluish green color egg. So it's like turquoise.
I forget which
one thing I discovered
does that.
When my cousin took me out to Kelly's Island to see how she had ruined the property, I stayed overnight, and then we had breakfast, and then we went, and I had duck eggs. Oh my God, those were so good.
I've heard they're pretty good. I've never tried duck eggs before.
Very rich.
That's what I'd heard, that duck eggs are a lot richer.
I wonder what a platypus egg tastes like.
I wonder, yeah.
I don't know, but if you find out, you'll get arrested.
Yeah, I imagine.
Oh, boy, moi. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to have to. I think I'm going to have to try to do some more cleaning here and then order some breakfast, order some groceries. Because I haven't been using that grocery delivery thing that Squalmart has quite enough.
Crud.
Great value, large white eggs, 60 count for $8.73. You know, that might almost be worth it.
60 count? You'd use that many?
Yeah, actually, I can eat quite a lot of eggs.
Okay, you have room to keep them?
That's the one thing I'd have to think about.
What does that come out to per egg?
Okay, 14.6 cents per egg.
That's a very good price because eggs were like 9, 10, 12 cents a piece before all this happened. So that's very good price. Just get together with a neighbor and do a group buy.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea, actually.
How much per egg did you say that came out to?
14.6 cents.
Okay, so that's 168 a dozen.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm fumbling here. Something got on my trackball and is keeping it from rolling properly.
Yeah, that's something else I've got to do. I need to build another machine. All my hardware is fucked up.
Well, that thing's only like a year old.
What is?
Your computer.
Well, my laptop is only about a year old. My what do you call those things?
Desktop.
Say again, hon?
Desktop.
The desktop. Yeah, those are not recent. I built one of them in 2018 and the other one in 2015. And they're failing.
Yeah, I've got a computer that's slowly dying on me over here too.
Because I still like desktops. I mean, I'm getting by on this laptop, but I'd rather have a couple of desktops. I really would.
I
Yeah.
don't blame you there.
Well, I like having my desktop just because at least you have the potential for upgrading it some.
Yes, that's the point right there. Wait a minute. Okay, so I've got. All right. What
Yeah,
have we
I'm still in the process of getting all my files transferred into my new computer.
How long have you been doing that? 2 years?
No. I only actually got the thing up and running a couple of months ago.
Okay.
Just I was trying to be organized for once, and it's not something I'm good at, so it takes a long time.
Tell me about it.
My last time I switched computers, I just dumped everything onto a hard drive, and I just have a partition of my hard drive that says copy of old hard drive. But it makes it hard for me to find any files or pictures that predate the computer.
Yeah, huh? Yeah, you know what I think I'm going to have to do? I'm going to have to order some groceries. But that
Yeah,
means
actually,
that I'm gonna have
the
to
largest
clean.
the largest eggs came from the sauropods, the long neck guys, and the eggs from Brontosaurus would have been about the size of a football, which really is about the theoretical limit for how large an egg could be and still, hold a shape.
Okay. Okay.
Any larger than that, and there wouldn't be enough surface area for it to exchange air with the outside, and the creature forming inside will wind up suffocating.
Okay.
So in other words, more permeable shell is going to give less air.
Well, they don't think that they really were hard shells. They were more a leathery shell, like a sea turtle egg.
Okay.
But still, eggs are permeable. That's
Yeah.
how the air is in.
Yeah, they have to exchange the oxygen and carbon dioxide.
And I'm guessing, though, that the more permeable an eggshell is, the weaker the egg itself is, right?
Don't know.
Well, the problem more
look
comes to
look how thick a an ostrich egg is compared to a chicken egg.
Yep.
Okay.
The problem more comes to if it's too permeable, then it allows bacteria to get into the embryo.
That too. That too.
So the pores have to be small enough that it can't actually, let a cell through, but allows the gases to pass through. Also, they have to keep the moisture in. If the eggs let the water evaporate from inside, then the embryo is going to dry out and not finish developing.
Mm-hmm.
I would expect that a water molecule is quite a bit larger than just an oxygen molecule.
Well, yeah, considering, I mean, you've got the oxygen molecule plus two hydrogen, the oxygen atom plus two hydrogen atoms.
Yeah, but that's what's going to limit the pore size of the egg.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That has to be big enough for the CO2 molecules, but too small for the water molecules.
Well, it would be the same size as like on a chicken egg. Why would it be larger? There'd just be more of them.
Okay.
Right, but you run into the square cube law of the surface area compared to the volume. And just at a certain point, you get to that there isn't enough surface area to transfer the amount of gases needed by a creature of that volume.
Okay, yeah.
Your math is so flawed. You show me those numbers.
I don't have them offhand, but I'm pretty sure that was from a book by Stephen Jay Gould that I was reading that.
Well, then Stephen Jay Gould is wrong. Whoever he is.
You don't know Stephen Jay Gould?
No,
You horrible person, you.
There's a lot of people I don't know.
No, but he was one of the best known paleontologists through the 80s and 2000s.
Yeah.
I forget what year he died.
Oh, a while ago already. Harvard educated, by the way, if I remember correctly.
He was noted for being a renegade.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't go along with a lot of the popular theories, which is a big part of why we had the dinosaur renaissance, and why dinosaurs are accepted now as being birds rather than just being big reptiles.
Okay, Gould died 20 May 2002.
Okay, so it's 20 years ago already.
Yep. It's an amazing the way time flies. Because I'm thinking, when I think of things like 20 years ago, I'm still stuck thinking that things that happened 20 years ago happened in 1965.
Yeah, up until you're about 25, the years go by pretty quick, and then after that, not a lot changes, so it's harder to have that concept of time.
Yeah.
Well, there are other reasons too. Apparently, our perception of time actually does change as we get older.
Well, I thought it was due to the expansion of the universe slowing down, but
One of the best illustrations I've ever seen about the adaptation of time and perception of time as we age was done by, believe it or not, Dr. Phil. And he takes this imaginary yardstick and he puts it on the floor. It's like what 3 feet wide and 20 feet long or whatever, and he divides it up into years. The typical age limit is 85 years, let's say. And then he goes and stands on a teenager and see how kindergarten was so close. It seemed like yesterday. That's why it was so close. Then he goes to like 30 or 40 and say, look at this comparison to that comparison. You're towards your middle life. Everything looks fine and it feels like forever until you get to the end. But now look at when you're standing it there at 65 and look at that end. It's like tomorrow.
Yeah, when you realize that you're closer to the end than the beginning.
Yep. And suddenly, when you make that realization, suddenly the clock starts going much faster.
Yeah, it's well, even when I was younger, when I went to school the first time, it was amazing to me how the first semester, my first semester freshman year, dragged by, and then the second semester was gone within what felt like a week. And I don't know what does that. Is it because you're accustomed to it, so it seems that much faster? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm still having trouble grappling with the idea that a child I held when she was 6 hours old is now in college.
You is old, dear. Welcome to the club.
I remember holding my nephew in my arms and changing his diaper, and now his daughters are not too far from college.
Yeah, well, my oldest one turned 40 last year, so there's certainly the potential that I could have been a grandparent by now. It just hasn't happened.
That is okay. Now here's the damn thing. I don't think of you as that old, but I guess you is.
Well, again, they came with the relationship, so.
Well, you and Diana are the same age, aren't you?
No, I'm what is it, 7 years older than you are, hon?
I thought it was like 5, but I keep losing track.
Okay, it could be. Yeah, it could be.
How about just saying what year you were born?
Yeah, I was born in 64. Huh?
And I was born in 57.
Okay, see how easy that is?
Okay, so it is 7 years.
Oh, God. That's amazing, too, when I think about it. When I was born, there were no artificial satellites orbiting the Earth.
No, but there were in Uranus. They call them Klingons.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, it's what my grandpa said. It's something of his life. Was that when he was born, automobiles didn't exist, and he saw a man walk on the moon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's funny. The old guy down the street from me was telling me how he was 90 years old and he remembers when he didn't have electricity.
Well, I remember when my grandparents' house didn't have electricity.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, there were quite a few houses in the flats area of Cleveland that had neither electricity nor indoor plumbing when I was a young child.
Yep. Well, that was same with my grandparents, that they didn't have electricity or indoor plumbing. They finally got electricity. I think it was like 72 or 73 before they got electricity out on that road.
Remember when phone numbers were only 4 digits?
Yes, I do.
Tell that to some kid nowadays. They think, what?
Yeah, I lived.
We kept it that way because that's all we could remember.
For a while in Southern Ohio, I lived in an area that still had 4-digit phone numbers within a local compass.
Yep. Where I was living up in Michigan, if you had a landline, you only had to dial 5 digits for a local number. And that was
Okay.
everything in that half of the county.
When you're so old that your phone number is 1.
Pennsylvania 65000.
Oh my word. I love that song. I mean, it's so banal, but I love it anyway.
I remember when phone numbers used to have letters in them.
Oh yeah, yep. Yeah, I remember. Well, I still remember the phone number the slimy bastards had when I was in single digits. You know, TU41635.
Yep. Well, I grew up in the Chicago suburbs, and the phone number of the house I grew up in started with Orchard 3.
Okay.
Fairview
Yeah,
One.
I used to know all the exchange names too, because where they had the store that was the Broadway Exchange, where they had the house that was the Tuxedo Exchange.
Well, I remember when they had the system, you could tell what neighborhood a guy lived in just by his phone number.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right.
Roughly. I mean, there were bigger areas than just a neighborhood, but you
Yeah.
could still, he's a South Sider, well, he's an East Sider, he's a North Sider, that kind of thing. And
Yeah, that's what
there used
the
to be a
name.
time also when you could get somebody's area code and you would know what state they're in.
Mm-hmm.
And now,
Yep.
no way. There's no logic to them, how they're picked.
Yeah, that's what the named exchanges were, because that was, each neighborhood had like a peg on the switchboard.
And I heard also, I don't know how true this is, but I heard that New York's area code is 212. But since the expansion of phones and everything, they've had to add more exchanges in New York City. And now there are people who want that numeric exchange number in their phone number so bad that they will pay thousands of dollars for the rights to your phone number.
I can see it happening. I can see people selling the rights to their numbers.
I don't know. I'm thinking it's kind of dumb, but yeah, I can see it happening.
In Wisconsin, there's 715-608. I'm forgetting. God damn. 224. Oh no, 544. Excuse me. And Milwaukee.
Yeah. Well, I remember, while my mom was living in the Chicago suburbs, the area code changed 3 times. Kept the same phone number, but because they kept adding area codes, that suburb got the area code changed 3 times.
Okay.
Yeah, the phone system used to be really fucking good.
Ooh, okay. I'm starting to run out of battery power. Let me get the charger over here.
Yeah, I gotta take a break for a minute. I need to wheelie, and then I'm going to boil some water for some coffee.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
just what it goes. I got to do it.
Okay, here we go.
This was an FCC problem that I forget, how many years back it was, that because of there being so many phone numbers now, that they had to start adding all the new area codes. Mm-hmm. And the original proposal was that each phone company would get its own area code. But the phone companies complained that that was discriminatory, because then it meant people would always have to dial 10 digits for a cell phone and only 7 digits for a landline. So yeah, now instead everybody has to dial 10 digits for everything.
God, who has landlines anymore?
Hey, Robert. Mm-hmm. Well, actually most places, they're now doing, phone through the cable TV thing, so
yeah,
a lot of people wind up getting landlines that way.
Yeah, that's where I had a bit of a problem where I was originally wanting to get just a phone and a landline, and it was going to be like $90 for me to have a landline with one phone on it, where I'm spending $25 for my cell phone and the whole bit and everything else. So now I'm a cell phone person.
Here it was a cheap add-on since I've got the cable for the internet. They kept pushing me to add on a phone service to it for like $12.95 a month.
Okay.
But don't see the need for it here.
Okay. Ow, 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 ow. Oh, God. Ow. I can't have that procedure done too soon. Fuck.
Ox says it's the only thing that works when power goes out, which was one thing.
Yes. That was a very important thing.
Actually, before we had batteries for everything, I had made a couple of cords specifically for the purpose that in the event of a power outage, I could tap voltage off of the phone plugs in the house.
Yeah.
So I had a couple of lamps that would run off of the phone outlets.
Yeah, this is the reason why it took me so long to switch to a cell phone myself, because it was the phone would run and even without power.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Hey, Orb, Jeff.
What we
If
got
anybody else
happening
wants
over
to join
here?
in, just let me know and I'll drop you a line.
No, wait a minute. Come here, you. Don't do that. You want to go to the East Coast.
I'm still old enough to remember when there was only one phone in the house and it was bolted to the kitchen wall.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, and we got the upgrade that we could take the phone in the other room because it had a 25-foot coiled cord.
Ooh, fancy.
God, I'll tell you, it's amazing when you think back the differences.
Yeah, just seeing how far the technology's come in my lifetime. That, like I say, people laughed at me. I specifically remember it was 1984 when I got my first Commodore 64. And everybody laughed when I said that by the time my kids were old enough to have kids, computers would be as common as TV sets.
Mm-hmm.
Now everybody's got a computer and a lot of people don't have a TV set.
Well, since this is Women's Month, we got
National Women's Day today also, yes.
National Women's Day. Apparently Hershey did a thing for it.
Oh, yeah. Tucker Carlson lost his shit over that.
Yeah.
What did I miss?
Well, see this one, two, three, the fourth one from the left here, or in the back there. That one is trans, and everybody was bitching about that.
Yeah, that they included a trans woman in this promotion for women.
And one company, he decided to make their own non-woke chocolate quotes, and they came up with this.
Wait, I don't see it. Let me go look.
Yeah.
No.
This is a non-woke version, which is about 3 times the price of a Hershey's chocolate thing.
Yeah, and if you weren't telling me about that, if I saw that on Twitter, I would think it was a parody somebody made.
It does look like a parody, but it's real. The guy's actually trying to sell it.
Yeah.
I want to run away.
That's the problem these days, is it's hard to tell the parodies because the real stuff people are doing is stupider than the parodies.
Yes. I want to run away, but I can't afford to run away, and nobody wants me anyway.
That's the one who's trans right there.
Yep. I want you. We keep telling you to run away to Minnesota. They're even saying it's going to be a safe state for trans people.
Warm it up over there, okay?
That's what central heating is for.
Yeah. Well, we do have global warming, so we're not getting as much snow as we used to.
Oh man.
In that picture, if somebody didn't tell me, it would not occur to me that any of them are trans.
Oh my. Well, that's a tone thing as far as that goes, but it amazes me that when I think back, when I first came out, how little problem I had. People always assumed I was female.
Andrew's got a good one. How many people need the diaper changed after they saw there wasn't a white person in the ad?
No,
man.
the trans. I'm pretty sure the trans one's white.
Yeah.
It amazes the shit out of me, though. My own attitude today versus 50 years ago or something like that, because I've been living in majority black neighborhoods for the last 50 years or so, and what surprises me is not majority black but majority white. Well, I chased everybody away, didn't I?
Yeah, I was typing a reply to something in the side chat there.
Okay, then. Oh, let me warm up my coffee and then look
This
up
coffee stuff is dragging people away from the stream. We've got to ban it.
There you go.
I'm back.
Okay, good. All right. Because Diana's trying to leave for coffee, so you had to be back.
Goodbye.
Yeah, you're happy to get rid of me, aren't you?
You just missed the whole topic of woke chocolate.
Chocolate.
Yeah. Let me put that back up so you can see it again. I'll put it back up.
Sure.
There you go. Woke chocolate.
I've gotta clean this shit.
Yeah, Hershey's did an ad campaign with this Hershey. This was also the one. No, actually,
who wants to bet that somebody comes out with a she?
Already have it. Yep.
Oh, it's already out. Okay.
Yep. Somebody's mocking it.
His he. That would be his he.
He, him, she, her. This is the non-woke chocolate for 3 times the price.
Yep.
Yeah, but the nuts are always so tiny.
Yep. Well, then M&M's. Diana, are you okay?
It hurts. They say that I'm scheduled for an ablation on the 24th. And I'm just waiting to see how they're going to screw me over this time.
But what really got people's panties in the right wing's panties in a bunch is this one right here, who's trans. Just recapping everything for Jenny here.
Oh, Tayo Gorasto.
Who is that?
Jenny didn't get to see the pictures.
Yeah, this one is trans. That was in the group of 5 girls, and they're trying to make it sound like there was just that one who's advertising it, and they just got a trans woman to advertise their Women's Day thing.
Cookies and cream, huh?
That sounds.
Now, Hershey's is actually producing these.
Yeah, these are actually, you can buy these. These
Oh,
are
okay, all
real
right,
thing. This is a real thing.
that's cool.
They did it for the for the Women's Day thing.
And the dumbbells are all upset about it, huh? Great.
Yep.
As
And
usual.
so
Very
much
happy.
so much so so much so that they made their own non-woke chocolate that it's 3 times the price.
I wonder who picked it for him.
Well, I also wonder how that's going to affect, Michigan is not being as progressive as they used to be. But, Hershey's chocolate has a substantial interest in that state. So I wonder how much influence they can put there.
Enter an ablation is something that you have in medicine, but it's also something that you have in space. For example, the Orion that was just up and it came down and it went through reentry and it burned, and gets all hot and stuff like that. That's called an ablative heat shield.
Yes.
And what it does is that the stuff gets too hot, it peels off.
Mhm.
And so an ablation in medicine is basically the same concept, that they peel stuff off, not necessarily actually peeling it, but they kill tissue to achieve a certain desired effect. In her case, it's going to be pain tissues, and in a cardiac person, it's sometimes nerve endings that affect the beat, for like AFib and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's the way the pain doctor described it to me, is that they would insert a probe and burn away some of the fibers on the neck nerves. And it's like, okay, bring it on. I mean, if it stops the pain, bring it on.
Okay.
Ox, lots and lots and lots of times they are not still labeled trans. I went without the trans prefix for decades.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up as soon as Diane's done here. So.
Wait a minute. What is this in response to?
The question that Ox was asking that's on the screen. It's nothing to do with the use of trans. I get when a person is in transition from one to another, but after that, basically, do you still call a person trans after they've completed the transition process?
Oh, okay. I tend to, but that's because I'm stupid.
I don't, because it's nobody's damn business.
Well, that too.
Yeah, for me, I'd think it's a context thing. It's not something that the general public needs to know, but, maybe when you're specifically in queer groups, it helps to have that identifier.
Yep, queer groups are completely different. That's entirely different situation. But in normal day-to-day life, no, I don't announce that I'm trans. No way. Why? What's the point?
Oh, no. Well, I don't go up and down the street with a sign either, but I mean, it's when I'm thinking of the stuff, if you will.
Yeah, well, and that's Tina Jones got, transitioning and transgender, and the trans prefix is used in a lot of different ways within this context.
Ox, it's also worth mentioning, since we're on this topic, let's see, earlier, where was that you said? But it's after that confuses me. There are people who, similar to somebody who's a hypochondriac or a Munchausen's type person, that they will gladly carry that trans thing because they feel like they are something special, or that it gets sympathy for them, that kind of stuff. And so I refer to them as professional trans people, okay, because they use it to their advantage that way. There's not a lot, but they definitely do exist out there, and they don't help anybody's cause.
There's at least one of everything, yeah.
Well, while there is some of that, I would generally agree with what Robert X says. It's more the question of would they call themselves trans?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ox, that could be part of it. Some would claim that as a feature to why they retain the trans label on themselves.
Yeah, and I can see for some it is a badge of honor. I mean, it really is a very difficult and extremely time consuming process to get there. So, some people it's just that was a major accomplishment.
I could also see a use for or is just giving general exposure to the community itself.
Enrollment. What's that in response to?
I have a meeting scheduled with
We can
Diana.
hear you, Diana. Meet Diana, so we don't have to listen to her.
I
Okay,
did mute
so
her.
what are you here?
I don't know why she keeps unmuting. Okay.
Am
Yeah. Tina, that's basically my line is that, if I was dating someone and it was going to get intimate, at that point, I think it might be, something they need to know. But at any point before that, it's not something I really need to tell anyone.
Tina, if I were to go out and meet some guy and he wants to fuck, I'd fuck him. And the only thing I would tell him is that, well, I'm an older woman and so I'm kind of dry, so I use this lubricant, and that's it. And if we have to develop a relationship beyond that, we'll cover that later. But I'm not going to tell every guy I get into a minor, one nighter with. No way.
Yeah, well, and I've often said that some of the best sex I've ever had, I never took my pants off. So,
Yeah,
there's
and
also
Terry,
that I might not be getting fully undressed, even if we are having sex.
Jared, that's a real good point. That is one of the biggest piece of bullshit I've ever heard out of somebody's mouth. You're supposed to be just treat people nice, asshole. If they're men, you treat them nicer than if they're women. Is that the deal?
Yeah, exactly. And that's really the bottom line is, why can't we get past this thing of having to put people into groups? Why can't we just treat everyone the same?
Well, because there's too many people making money off the conflict.
Yep.
you hung up on me? That's all right. I don't care.
Ox, I love you. Don't ever.
Oh, now what? Hello.
Jenny, what were you saying?
That was just a note to Ox. Do not ever call me dude.
Oh, that one. Now, see, I tend to see dude as, being a non-gender thing, but, to me, it's like in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, they called everyone dude.
Yeah, it's kind of how I see it as well.
All right. So there we are.
Well, we already had one word for that does that, and that was guy. We don't need another one. And dude has always been a masculine term.
Mm-hmm.
They did try to create a feminine version, dudette, at one point.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that being in fairly common use for a little while.
That was the good old days.
Ox, do you pronounce it guy or gee?
Yeah, there you go.
All the French people I know, it's pronounced gee. And
Really?
I can't believe I've actually known 3 different Frenchmen who had that name. Must be popular.
The only one I'd known was Guy Lafleur, the hockey player.
Okay, guy.
I did not know that pronounced Guy, that it would be spelled the same.
Oh, the French do a lot of weird things like that.
Well, yeah, of course.
I mean, they build these 4-wheel vehicles and they actually call them cars.
Yeah, I was never quite sure where we got car from automobile.
Carriage.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. That's right. It was horseless carriages. And it put so many horses out of a job.
Yeah, but think of all the shit that wasn't done in the street anymore.
That is amazing, isn't it? It wasn't all that long ago that streets full of horse shit were very common.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, these people, oh, let's make America great. Oh yeah, like around the turn of the century when the streets were full of shit.
Yeah, it was only maybe about 100 years ago or so from what I've seen with old footage.
Yeah, yeah. Even into the 1930s, there were still a lot of horses on the street.
Yep.
That's
But think
true.
think of all those jobs that went away with having to clean up the shit.
Well, didn't somebody at
Joking.
some point invent a bag that way you sling it on the horse and it craps in the bag?
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
just like they have, kind of diapers like that for dogs now too.
They have diapers like that for chickens too.
Yeah, somehow I think that's wrong to do that to the animals, but
Oh, wait a minute. Coffee.
I do understand the sanitary thing if you're going to have a horse out on the public streets. Actually, the St. Paul police still have a mounted division. They still have horses that they mostly use to patrol the parks.
Mm-hmm. I think Cleveland still has a mounted department.
Milwaukee sheriff had a mounted squad, and the Nazi Republican sheriff Dave, what was his fucking name? Dave, I hate you. I don't know. Was real into it because he was into thinking he was a cowboy.
Yeah.
He always
Well,
wore
the
a
New York
cowboy
City
hat
police
around,
still
yeah.
uses horses in Central Park.
I hear there's quite a movement in New York to stop using horses in the city because they're treated so cruelly.
Yeah. I've heard bits about it. I don't really understand what the arguments for either side are on that.
Well, I keep seeing pictures of horses that have died up right on the street, still hooked to their carriage, dead from things like lack of overwork and lack of water.
Yeah.
Okay, then. Yep. I've seen those.
Well, I know that it usually comes up in the summer when some of the horses are dropping from heat exhaustion or dehydration.
Mark Driscoll. Why do I know that name?
Who?
Mark Driscoll?
That does sound familiar.
I think there's one that's a politician in Minnesota. I think he's in the state legislature, or used to be.
Nah, my memory on that is much further back than that.
Okay.
I think we had
Gotta look
in Milwaukee. I think we had a mega church with a Mark Driscoll as the main thief.
It sounds like this is a job for Google.
I'm on it.
Mark Driscoll.
First one that comes up
American
is an American
evangelical
author.
pastor and author who founded the now defunct Mars Hill Church.
Excuse me.
Okay, so where was the Mars Hill Church located?
Oh, let's find.
Scottsdale, Arizona.
Okay.
Type in mega church, Brookfield, Wisconsin. I think it was something east.
Elmbrook
I was
Church.
just looking.
That's what first thing that comes up is something called an Elmbrook Church.
Oh, Tina, you're Welsh. You Tina Jones. Do you know Tom? I'm sorry.
Kitty is definitely not happy tonight.
That's what they need to invent is a rubber fuck me doll for cats.
Yeah, there you go.
Pump on.
Moo. I was hoping she'd be done with this by now, but not quite.
Oh, Ox says they use horses because pepper gas doesn't affect the horses.
Oh,
Ooh,
really?
what? Where went?
Ox says that part of the reason police use horses is pepper gas doesn't affect the horses.
I did not know
Oh!
that.
I was not aware of that.
I was not aware of that.
There's a lot of other animals that are not affected by the crap, whatever. What do they call that again? Starts with a C.
The what? The capsaicin?
Capsaicin, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Birds aren't affected by it. They don't taste the heat.
Okay, well, see that's useful for me to know because there are a couple of scenes in my novel that involve a cop on horseback.
Oh,
And Jared, they would have been protecting themselves from God, of
Mustard gas.
yeah, I'm forgetting the chemical name.
Yeah.
Yeah, mustard gas, which is can kill anything.
it's a vesicant. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, there's a lot of pictures of divisions that fitted their various mascots with gas masks. So they in the field were improvising gas masks for all sorts of animals.
So apparently, dogs are even more affected by tear gas and pepper spray than humans.
My grandpa was my mom's dad was damaged in World War I from mustard gas. It didn't kill him, but fucked him up real bad, and he had for the rest of his life he had a bad heart and bad lungs and all kinds of medical problems.
I was going to say I'd expect bad lungs.
And then he finally died at 65 on my birthday.
No, wait, no. Dogs are relatively unaffected by tear gas and horses. Must be the pepper spray that they're more affected by.
And wait a minute here.
Yeah, well, we're working so hard on self-driving cars, and that was one big advantage to horses, was that if you were too drunk or if you fell asleep at the wheel, the horse would still get you home.
Yeah.
And that was a common thing back then, that if somebody was too drunk at the bar, they'd just tie him onto his horse and hope there was somebody at home who'd untie him.
There's actually been cases where people have been sentenced to death by being tied up to a horse. He ended up being becoming an urban legend at one point of some ghostly figure riding around on a horse. And it actually turned out to be a dead guy who was tied up to a horse.
Phosgene gas.
And
I know that was used back in the Old West at times, that they'd just tie somebody to a horse and send the horse, out into the wilderness.
If you take a chlorinated brake clean fluid and you expose it to flame, you can create phosgene gas and drop your mechanic dead.
Yeah, and this horse was running around for years with this dead body strapped to him.
Yeah, phosgene is amazingly easy to make.
Yeah, basically it's chlorine and an acid.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and then of course you just have the traditional mixing chlorine, bleach, and ammonia.
Yeah.
That'll make a gas that'll put people out. It'll kill you if you got enough of it.
That's true about just about anything.
I got a whiff once of I don't think it was 100% chlorine, but or ammonia, but it was awful strong. and I was on a ladder, and it knocked me off the ladder. It was so
Yeah.
powerful. I couldn't
Oh, yeah, that
see
stuff's
straight or
powerful.
breathe right for the rest of the day.
Well, even the chlorine bleach they sell, for detergent stuff, is extremely watered down.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
like
what
it's
three
less
drops
than
of water is
10%. Yeah. And even in its watered down state, people, you don't need nearly as much to disinfect as people use. You don't need to pour the stuff on. You put like a shot glass full in a bucket of water, and that is still going to kill all the germs on contact. I actually use an eyedropper for it for most of the stuff.
Okay.
You put about 3 drops of chlorine bleach in a sink full of water, and that is going to disinfect anything that can fit in the sink.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is the stuff that Donald Trump was advocating drinking.
Yep. And this is what I learned from being closer at a restaurant. Was that the restaurant health codes only require like 3 parts per million of chlorine as a disinfectant on food preparation surfaces.
Interesting.
So that's what we had to sterilize the cutting boards every night.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so wait a minute. What we got on that thing over here?
I'm still scared of the idea of self-driving cars on public roads because there's just too many things that can go wrong, and I just see too many chances of them hitting pedestrians.
Yep. No, I would not want a self-driving car. I would not want a self-driving car on my roads.
Not yet, anyway.
Yeah, I think we're at least a couple of decades away yet from the computers being able to handle, all the dynamic things that they have to encounter. I mean, sure, they can handle the maps and such, but just all the programming for, events that occur that aren't in the program.
Yeah, and you'd want a lot of redundancy on that as well, just in case
Yes.
anything fails.
Yep. Yeah, well, and things like, what happens if they just started construction so it's not in the map yet? There actually was an instance of a Tesla driving into some newly poured concrete. Yeah, that they had just resurfaced the road that day, and the Tesla went right through the barriers into the fresh concrete.
Well, that'll make an interesting sculpture.
Oh God.
Oh. I just ripped another nail.
Ouch.
Oh, are your nails getting weak as well?
Yeah, my nails have been.
Because what's happening with mine is that they are delaminating.
Yep, mine are doing that now too. Mine have been weak for a couple of years, but now it's just they don't break; they just tear.
Yes.
Like you say, yeah, like delaminating. I've had that problem too that I've noticed from the tips of delaminating when I try to file them.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to have some pretty nice nails, and then it's totally shot now. Well, I'm totally shot, let's face it. I'm old, I'm broken.
Okay. You think that mostly just has to do with age? That's not really the transition?
I'm thinking that it's age. I could be wrong on this, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I used to use mine for tools. I used them for screwdrivers all the time, and now I can't do anything with them without them ripping.
Mm-hmm. Oh, God. Okay, so I need onions, butter, caraway seeds, paprika, flour, stewing beef, tomatoes, salt and pepper. What am I making? Yeah.
Oh, I made my thing with the rashes a couple days ago. The pork, radishes, threw in some beans, some
Ooh,
onions, spiced it up with a few spices, and had some moringa just to get something green in there. Turned out pretty good.
I've definitely got to. Well, what I've got to do is I've got to clean this place up, and then I've got to start the cooking stuff again. Um, and I'll go with some of the recipes from my childhood.
Tuna Nuna.
Who?
Tuna Nuna.
Nuna Nuna?
No, Tuna Nuna.
Diane, I'd be a little concerned if something's been in your fridge since your childhood. It might not be fresh anymore.
Well, I've got to clean my fridge, yeah, but that's. Oh my. Because. Got to make some goulash. Make the noodles myself.
Well, I had proposed that idea for a combined cooking channel, and never really got any response on that after a first couple of weeks. I'd still be willing to do that if a couple of people were up for it.
I got to do something with that, yeah, because basically what I need to do is number one, get the place cleaned up a little better. Number two, get me working a little bit better. Get the neck done, so I'm not in
Screaming
bed
in pain.
all day every day.
Okay, Spooky is calling for the return of your cooking channel.
Yeah, I want to bring it back, and the thing is that I've got to get myself prepared.
Hey, Mark.
And then I'd like to bring out some of the stuff that Babka used to make and go from there.
Okay, what are Skynet brand cars? I haven't heard Skynet on a car. Or are you just making a joke about their satellite network? Okay, we got a bunch of lurkers out there.
Now, wait a minute. The Skynet, aren't there a bunch of complaints about that from astronomers?
Skylink.
I wouldn't be surprised considering how many things they've been putting in low Earth orbit.
I mean, there's so much in low Earth orbit, I'm surprised there's room for any more.
Space is very big.
Well, and Skylink has had literally dozens of unsuccessful ones.
Yeah.
So besides the satellites they control, they've left a lot of just debris floating up there.
Yeah. And the one thing that does upset me about all that stuff in Earth orbit, with the communication satellites especially, when you reach the end of a satellite's useful life, you push it up into a higher orbit. So it's still there causing havoc.
No,
okay, why?
They orbit them.
Yeah. Why would they push them up? It would make more sense to deorbit them so they burn up in the atmosphere.
Yeah, then it's just a natural source of materials.
It's cheaper to push them up because it takes less fuel.
Really?
They're not worried about fuel at that point.
I would have thought that all you'd have to do was, slow it down and it would automatically fall down.
Yeah, pretty much. There's a little more calculation behind it because they want it to fall in the South Pacific.
Right. They want to be able to determine where it's going to land, but yeah.
They got that whole empty space that people pretend Australia's in.
Yeah. Which is funny because the only piece they ever found from Skylab was a hunk that landed in Australia that they believe was an oxygen tank.
Mm-hmm. God, I
But
remember.
even Australia itself, as long as you don't hit the coast, you're not going to hit any people.
Right. Daju korostu.
Yeah, Beck's going in for his surgery.
Oh yeah, that's
So-
right.
Yeah, hoping that all goes well for you.
Beck, hey, Beck. When do you go in? March 11th? Oh, no, it's Mark too. Oh, never mind. I'm sorry. I don't have my glasses on.
So vet me niet aan de X-Fleeks over
No, I
here.
think Beck is going in tomorrow.
Oh, really? Wow, Beck. Cool beans.
Yep. Tomorrow at 7 a.m.
Good luck to you, sir.
What's with the monkey chorus?
Well, you had me up on full screen, so I figured I might as well give people some dancing monkeys.
Okay. Yeah, I had you up for the pictures you were showing before, and I can't reduced it.
Dancing monkeys are pretty talented. They dance better than Donald Trump.
Okay, Demon Orb says that apparently they could deorbit the satellites using the Hall effect thrusters if they are still responding. And that's an important part of it, too, that, a lot of the satellites that are up there just because they stopped responding to commands, so they can't really do anything with them.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why we probably need to start launching something up there that can basically shoot down the dead satellites just to get them out of orbit.
No,
Yeah.
You do that, you create a bigger problem with all the hazardous debris that you scatter out. Remember, at those speeds, they can perforate a chunk of steel.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. It would not be a realistic solution.
They need a robot craft that can go around and take them and give them a good fling at the sun or at the Earth, and let them burn up there.
Yeah, basically, you need a robot ship that could just give them enough of a nudge to knock them out of orbit.
I've been told that it's harder to send something to crash into the sun than it is the Earth. And it's like, what? Don't you just push it that direction and let the sun take over?
Well, I think it's just a matter of the distance that, if you're off a small fraction of a degree, it's going to go past the sun without getting pulled into the gravitational well.
Well, they land little bitty satellites on asteroids that they can't even see. I think they can handle putting that into something the size of the sun.
Well, if it's calculated from the initial launch, if you've got one that's already moving in orbit, I think that makes it a little harder. Basically, it's like playing pool. They have to shoot it at the right angle to get it in the right pocket.
Yeah, things usually in space aren't just a straight line.
Yeah. Okay. So we just need to, take a pool robot, and advance it to AI and put it into space to shoot all the satellites into where they need to go.
This is craziness over here. I remember when you would get stew meat, to get cheap meat. And now that cheap meat is like $7.50 a pound.
How much for dog bones? They used to give those away. Now they charge money for them.
Oh man!
Yeah, now they're like $4 a pound.
Yeah, you can blame my dad.
I know.
For that.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember my dad getting the dog bones from the meat or the the beef bones from the meat cutter just to make soup stock.
Uh-huh.
My dad was a meat cutter and manager of the department. And he realized one day, well, people want these dog bones. Why don't we charge 10 cents a pound? And
Yep.
then more places started doing that, and more places. So I think he invented it, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, okay. So, looking up on NASA here, it takes 55 times more energy to go to the sun than it does to go to Mars. Why is it so difficult? The answer lies in the same fact that keeps the Earth from plunging into the sun. Our planet is traveling very fast, almost entirely sideways relative to the sun. The only way you need to get to the sun is to cancel that sideways motion.
Interesting.
Okay, let's see what we've got over here. Roomba meats, beef marrow bones.
Oh, I used to love to eat bone marrow.
Yes.
Wait.
Mhm.
You-
I used to put it on bread.
Did you say Roomba meats? I didn't think vacuum cleaners had much meat.
There you go.
That's how many cans they sucked up.
Let's see, 2 pounds of bones for
Roombas are just
$3.75.
Uber for cats.
What?
Roombas are Uber for cats.
There you go. Yeah,
So you say 2 pounds of bones for $2.75?
$3.75.
Okay. Yeah, so that's almost $2 a pound.
Yeah, but that seems about right compared to way back in the 60s.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta see here. Yeah, you talk about $2 a pound. Beef heart.
There we go. Demon Orb's got a plan. We'll just launch a giant sheet of fly paper to catch all the satellite debris.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Okay, I'm seeing. Oh wow. I'm seeing beef heart for $5.50 a pound. I used to get it for $2.
Yep. And Mark Short has a point, like, the stuff we sent to Mars and that the pre-programming gets them close, but they still need to make some course corrections on the way.
Oh yeah.
Especially to get them into orbit. You wouldn't need as much of that if you're just trying to crash it and not get it into orbit, but still, you could miss the planet completely by being off a fraction of a degree.
I think that's just the most amazing thing that NASA does is when they plant a satellite on an asteroid, or the ones. Remember the one that chased the comet, collected material from its tail.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking amazing.
Well, like you say, the relative size that they could put one onto an asteroid at the relatively small size and the speed it's moving. The calculations for that are just incredible.
Poppy Northcutt. Remember Poppy Northcutt? Say her name, Poppy Northcutt. Come on, everybody, say her name, Poppy Northcutt.
What the hell
you
is
want to
that?
explain who this is?
Who?
She was like the I don't know if she was chief, but she was right up there in NASA programming the Apollo and their flight to the moon and back, and had to make all the changes right mid-flight with Apollo 13, and they did it just perfectly.
Okay, I did not know her name, but yeah, especially Apollo 13 when things did not go as planned and they had to make the calculations while they're up there.
That amazes the fuck out of me because there were 20 million ways those guys were dead, but they brought them home.
Yeah, well, that's people say landing on the moon was our greatest achievement. I think Apollo 13 was. When things went wrong and they still got everyone home alive. That's incredible. Sorry, Jenny was saying something.
I forgot what I was going to say.
Oh God.
Okay, Robert, catch you later.
Take care, honey.
Bye bye, Robert X.
Yeah, Hidden Figures. I still need to see that movie.
Oh, yeah.
I used to be a mutual with Poppy and Northcutt on Twitter before they kicked me off. We would trade emails once in a while. I remember the article that she was in Life magazine, and that's how we started talking to each other.
Okay. Oh, okay. Roomba meats, beef tongue, between 3 and 4 pounds for $25. Jesus.
What's a Roomba meat?
A brand name.
Oh, okay.
Does it clean your carpets?
There you go.
No, actually, what they're selling is the stuff that they extracted from the carpets.
Ah,
There you go.
In the men's room at the baseball stadium.
There you go.
no, those are hot dogs.
Depends on the.
Oh, God. Wait a minute. What's going on here? I got to find out what's happening.
Well,
Dry
and then we
aged
have
beef
spam.
tongue. What?
Well, spam is the stuff that Hormel decided isn't a high enough grade to put in the hot dogs.
Yeah, there you are. Beef cheek meat. 3 pounds for $9.50.
Vienna red hot dogs are made out of pure brisket. No,
Brisket's good. I like brisket.
no little parts off the floor.
Yeah, I suppose.
Hey,
Demon,
Demon, you've hit upon one of my addictions in life. What model rocket are you building? It's obviously a scratch if you're talking about things that you're making up for a tank and stuff.
Who? What? Where? Who's building a rocket?
Demon Orc.
Ooh.
And I also presume it's a static display. And are you on the Yahoo group for space modelers?
Is Yahoo still a thing?
Yeah, they still got some forums and stuff.
I didn't know Yahoo Groups was still a thing. I still use Yahoo for email.
Yeah, I saw the Yahoo email. I haven't seen Yahoo groups in a while, though.
God, I haven't looked at my email in weeks. I can imagine I've got several thousand messages backed up.
I still have my original Yahoo email that's over 25 years old, mostly because that's the one tied to my eBay account, so it'd be awkward to change it at this point.
Okay, moo.
You know, I might lose my seller rating on eBay.
Yeah, I've got to get all that put back together. It's all this stuff has been messed up for the last, I don't know, a couple months.
Oh, so it's just a let's make up a cool looking rocket. Okay, I get it. Kit bashing.
Cool.
Okay.
You know, if I could ever come up with prizes that I could actually award people, I wanted to do a contest and just have people submit designs for spaceships for my novel.
You know, it's really an interesting hobby. What I learned while I was on that forum, these guys will like build. Let's say they want to build a Saturn V. Well, they want to know which Saturn V you're going to build because everyone was different.
Yes.
And not just paint job, but actually equipment on it. How many folds in this piece of metal? How many folds in that piece of metal? and these guys do it exactly the way it's supposed to be, and it's just insanely detailed and very admirable what they do.
Oh, I know what you mean, because I'm just from the history groups I'm in. Some of the guys who do the military miniatures, about which version of the tank, and it's like even the same tank that supposedly came from the same factory, and the differences of the ones that were in different battles.
Yeah, production date had a lot
Yeah.
to do with stuff, and
Now, is there anybody out there who actually goes to the level of battle damage?
Oh yeah,
Oh my word!
I see that a lot in airplane modeling when they're doing all
Yeah.
the warbirds and stuff.
I had
Okay,
even
so
done that
you've got-
myself.
So you've got this. What?
What's her name? The Tamya. I think it was Tamya, a model maker out of Japan. They built a model. I think it was an F-15 or something. And they came. They let the Air Force let them in to make measurements and to prepare to build this model. And they wanted perfectly to scale and everything. So you got to touch and feel and build it. And they built it to such detail that they even put the battle damage of this one particular one that they measured in place. The patches, like it gets shot in the fuselage, they patch it, and they even have the patches and stuff on the production model.
Cool.
Oh my, it takes some devotion.
Well, back when I was in high school, I did some some stop motion animation with the Super 8 camera. So even on some of the original Star Wars ships, I had done simulated battle damage. Just giving each ship a backstory and how many times it had been hit. It's actually a lot more fun that way to give each one some individual personality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mark, some years ago I had a cat that would not eat a lot of processed lunch meat. And I decided to go by, her instincts that if she wasn't willing to eat it, I figured that it, had more artificial preservatives than it did meat. So I wasn't going to eat it either.
Okay.
Good call.
I figured she had a better nose for it than I did.
I do want to bring one thing up that we haven't brought up, like we said we were going to afterwards, as the second topic. Today, everybody, is International Women's Day.
Yay.
Yes.
And you're supposed to be wearing purple. I am.
I always wear purple.
Wait a minute. What's with the purple?
It's just the color of the celebration.
Oh, okay.
Sloth Girl keeps yelling at me every time I go shopping for clothes. No more purple.
That's hard to do in Minnesota.
You know what my biggest problem?
true.
You know what my biggest problem shopping in Minnesota is seeing all this stuff and trying to figure out, can I get the NFL logo off of that without ruining it? But yeah, actually, apparently, even a couple of the women who work at the thrift store have started referring to me as Purple Lady because they've noticed what I keep buying.
Okay, you can go with mauve or violet or lilac,
Lavender,
plum,
That's taken.
amethyst.
No, I like the deep royal purple. Amethyst would be about right for what I want.
lavender rhymes with fuchsia.
Okay.
Yeah, I want the nice deep dark purple.
See, you have lots of choices besides purple.
Yeah. Yeah, nothing personal. Lavender's not for me. I don't do pastel shades.
Okay.
Periwinkle's kind of purple. It's kind of between blue and purple. Pale color. Pastel.
Yeah. Although, yeah, it is a thing that there are like infinite shades of purple. So it's like, I have like dozens of purple tops and no two of them are the same color.
Now, I'm trying to remember if I'm imagining things or something. I thought I remembered reading somewhere that purple is not a color. In other words, we don't see purple, we imagine purple somehow, the way the brain works.
Well, we don't have any purple receptor. We have red, green, blue. So most of what we see is mixed.
Yeah, basically we're seeing red and blue at the same time and our brain's mixing it together.
Yeah, it's even in terms of light waves, it's actually separate light waves.
Oh my.
But how would an eye evolve, huh? How an eye couldn't just evolve, huh? Couldn't it? It would have to be invented by a great designer.
That's just totally amazing to me that there are people who require intelligence in everything. And they don't look in the mirror. They would look in the mirror.
I
and
heard,
they wouldn't see any.
or saw this great video. Apparently, Ken Ham somewhere in his rap has a discussion about things achieving a certain order by themselves and how they can't do that by themselves through what's going on in their environment and stuff like that. And it has to have been God. And so this guy apparently was about different, not sticks, but layers of stone and gravel and stuff, for building up layers and things. And so this guy takes this box. It's about, I don't know, a foot and a half, maybe a foot, 3/4 of a foot wide, about 8 inches deep, and it's filled with all these nails that are like 2-3 inches a piece. Not with a finishing nail type head. Not. And the guy just takes it and starts shaking it.
Yeah.
Shaking it, and they all line up perfectly together.
Yeah, I saw that
all
film.
by itself. and
just recently.
Don't anybody tell Ken Ham about this.
Yep. Well, as far as the color thing goes, I'm gonna put a link in the YouTube chat here. That he demonstrates that orange is not actually a color. That orange is actually just a form of light brown.
Yeah.
And brown has blue in it.
Still rhymes.
I gotta see what we got over here on the egg thing. Wait a minute. Okay. Oh, God.
Oh, yes, on egg thing. Where's that?
Okay, 3 pounds of onions.
What the hell are you making with 3 pounds of onions?
I will eat them.
Oh, you're making a grocery list.
Yes.
I thought you were talking a recipe.
Yeah. Shopping for ingredients for goulash.
I love onions. Num, 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 num.
Yes, onions are very, very yummy and tasty and nutritious and delicious and packed with vitamins and minerals.
How is the rocket going to be prop driven?
Okay, egg adjacent joke. Chicken in a kilt. I did my family history on the internet. Guess what? I'm Scottish, from the McNugget clan.
Okay.
Oh, that's another one that they should do with the Queen demonstration.
Yeah, just one of the
Yeah, start bringing guys with kilts on the streets. Let's see what happens to them. And if it's a true Scotsman, they better watch out. They're going to get beat up. That's me kilt. Don't laugh at me kilt.
Well, what's the one I saw recently within the last day or two? A picture with a guy and a girl both wearing kilts, and the caption is, "Which one is cross-dressing?"
Yep.
Good point.
That's a good one.
Yeah, in England last summer, when they were having that heat wave, one of the schools had got upset about, the dress code and that the girls, the skirts the girls were wearing. So in support of them, the next day, basically every boy in the school showed up wearing a kilt.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I've got a little Scottish in my heritage. Of course, I can wear whatever I want anyways, but
I have no idea what's in my heritage.
Well, mine's pretty basic for a couple of generations because we came to North America fairly recently. But I can't go back very far with either of them because there aren't any records that go back more than 5 generations.
I have some Scottish heritage as well as Irish, which is an interesting story in itself. Though I don't think I'd look too good in a kilt. I don't think I have the legs for it.
yeah, everybody has the legs for it.
My mom's side is Finnish and my dad's side is Polish. So the only thing they could really agree on is they like to shoot Russians.
Yeah, there you go.
Both sides of my family are here because Russia tried to move the border.
Oh, man. I don't know what it is with those Russians. They always want to move borders.
They're a pretty selfish bunch of people.
Yeah, pretty much.
Technically, Finland wasn't even an independent country when my great-grandparents came here.
Shadow Kitty's right. You read that, Purple?
Oh, the Donny Osmond thing, yeah. I did not know about that.
Wait a minute.
And
What do
again,
we
it's
have
been-
here?
Mr. Shadow Kitty says purple socks were Donny Osmond's trademark look.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't really remember much. Donny Osmond was quite a while back.
I remember.
Jeez, I mean, when I think about it, that's 50 years ago.
More than that. Well, not much. 55 maybe?
Yeah,
No.
well, that's what I was thinking. That's, mid-70s.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, you might be right. No, because I remember watching it when I was a kid. And I was a senior in 72, so it had to be before that. Maybe 68, 69. Well, Major, look it up.
I'm trying to remember what that one was. It Go Away, Little Girl?
Okay,
Or something?
I think
the
so.
Donny and Marie variety show was on from January 1976 to May 1979.
Really? Wow.
So yeah,
recent.
it was the mid to late 70s.
Huh.
Okay, because I was thinking early 70s. Yeah.
Well, that's the Mandela effect,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as far as the onions go, Sloth Girl can't handle chopping onions. So anytime she needs them cut for a recipe, I have to do it.
I was talking about things that recently, and it seemed still before I was born.
Well, you're a child.
Yeah, I have that problem a lot when I'm in these YouTube chats. Just remembering that most of the people in there are younger than kids I raised.
So I was born a second time during the Donny and Marie era, huh?
Mhm.
Yep.
Phew, that's embarrassing.
Okay, now see, we had some questions about that too. About how do most trans people like deal with your birthday and your transformation date, and do you just elect that as your new birthday, or how do you
Well,
view it?
I don't think there's any formal process. That the folks today seem to be real obsessed with the precise day and hour and time that they took their first hormone. Or some consider it the day you changed your name. Some consider it the day you came out to your parents or to work or whatever your significant other is. So everybody counts it differently. Um, we just didn't count that shit back then. I had to go back in calendars and my paperwork from the time to remember when this happened and that happened and stuff. Um, I really don't even celebrate any secondary stuff. I have one birthday, and I'll do a mental acknowledgement of the day I had surgery, because that was a Memorial Day, which is kind of a weird time. Um, it was was it the 50th anniversary of D-Day, and which I kind of thought was appropriate. Yeah. And some people, I don't know. Everybody counts it different. I don't think there's any one way to do it.
Well,
It is like a second adolescence, but it's not really. You're not really rebirthing. You're just going through changes and stuff. And I don't know. It's up to each individual.
well,
Yeah.
I hang on to my birthday because of the significance of the day. I mean, July 20th, but that's really the only reason I do.
Yeah, I'm not actually remembering the specific date. I just know it was the first week of June, which I'd kind of like taking that because it also means that my birthstone would then be Alexandrite, which is usually purple.
Okay.
So it just gives me one more reason to wear purple jewelry.
But yeah, the purple jewelry. I love amethyst.
Yeah. Amethyst was also my favorite character in Steven Universe.
Okay.
Amethyst is a nice color.
I used to have a ruby being my birthstone, but I don't have that anymore.
Was it Ruby A, Ruby B, Ruby C, or Ruby D?
The ruby who wasn't supposed to take her love to town.
That would be Ruby D.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
God,
an old Johnny Cash reference.
all the crap that sticks in your head over a lifetime, eh?
Oh yeah, my head is so full of crap that it's never mind.
Yeah, why can I not remember what day my doctor's appointment is on this week? And yet I can remember bullshit from TV commercials in the 70s.
Because they pounded it into you, showing it to you 1,000 times.
That's
That's true.
pretty
The
much it.
repetition.
And it's just the way long-term memory works. Once it's in there, it ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a lot of problems with my short-term memory of just, remembering things over the course of a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I also have a lot of problems with my very short-term memory, like remembering where the fuck I parked the car.
Yeah. Oh my word. Well, that's.
Especially if it's a store that I go to every week, but the car's in a different place every time I come out. That confuses me.
Go buy
Okay,
yourself
then.
an Apple tracker, one of those silver dollar size things that you stick on a car or something, and
Yeah, well,
you can follow
okay.
the signal to your car with your phone.
It's a lot easier with the van because now I can usually see the back end of it. With my little hatchback, it was so small that it got hidden behind every other car. So there was no way to see it from any distance.
Okay, then.
If it's a store I go to quite often, I usually try and park down the same aisle.
Yeah, when it's available. And again, with the little hatchback, I could fit into places other people couldn't. So it was like at the library, I had basically had a designated parking spot all winter because they kept pushing the snow up against the side and it wasn't wide enough for a normal car, but I could get my little hatchback in there.
Moo.
The van, she's kind of a big girl. She can't do that. She needs a full width space. When I had my Chevy Geo, I used to joke that I could park it in the cart rack if there wasn't a space open.
Oh, I see what we've got over here. Do I want to get that now or do I want to get that later? Should I get the camping stove now or later?
Later.
Okay.
Yeah, why do you want a camping stove now?
Because I'm slowly accumulating stuff because I do want to do a little bit of camping this summer.
Oh, okay.
Check Craigslist. You could buy one a lot cheaper than new. People, that's one of those things that people, we're going to go do our camping, and they buy shit like that from Coleman brand new and then use it one season.
Yeah.
Okay, she does have a point there.
She does. I can see a lot of that you could find ones that were used once or even still in the box that people never used at all, but just finally gave up on the idea.
Yep. Same with a tent. You can get real bargains on tent.
Really close by to my apartment is the Great Allegheny Passage, which is a former railroad right-of-way that's been converted into a bike trail. And there's camping areas all along here. And I mean, I could literally walk from here to there. And I would like to this year. Because if I don't do it, I just may never get it done. And I think I'd like to do it.
Yep. I've actually thought of having a camping stove just because we've been having power outages, just short ones, but about twice a year since I moved here. And since everything's electric, when the electricity's out, I don't even have something I can warm up a cup of tea on.
Yeah, that's one of the things I'm thinking is we lose power a lot in this neighborhood. The infrastructure must be for shit. And then the other thing too, it might come in handy for a cooking show.
Yeah, I keep a lot of camping equipment around for hurricane supplies.
Okay, then. Okay.
So I was thinking of possibly just getting one of those little camping stoves that you just, put little sterno cans in.
Yes.
Just enough so I could at least have a hot cup of soup when the power's out.
What would be good for you, Purpose, to look for a rocket stove, it's called. And you can actually make them out of tin cans if you want.
Yeah.
But you can buy them for, many are under $20. And you can literally take just a little clump of sticks, maybe the size of 2 packs of cigarettes, and light the thing, and it will burn in such a way so hot that it'll boil fucking water in no time at all. And of course you could add.
I've watched a couple of YouTube videos on how. Sorry, go.
You can add more fuel as you go and keep it going for longer, but it's real compact, and if you do it right, it's perfectly safe.
I've watched a couple of YouTube videos on how to make those, like you say, out of old cans. I've seen a couple too that they make them fueled with alcohol. I'm not sure exactly, if they're using just rubbing alcohol or what kind of alcohol they're using to fuel.
See, I would avoid alcohol because alcohol burns invisibly. You don't see it, especially outside. You do not see a flame off of an alcohol burn, and you can be burning the tent down and not even know it.
True. Yeah.
I would stick with either charcoals and sticks or a kerosene product.
Yeah. Part of the issue, really, if I'm just having it for emergency, is safely storing the fuel. Because even kerosene, like if the can develops a small leak, you get fumes. So, just anything that if it was leaking and causing fumes in the apartment could be an issue. I have on job sites actually made lunch on my propane torch.
What time we got here?
Almost 2:30.
Yeah, I think I want to booger out.
Okay, you got someplace you need to go.
Yeah, my bed is calling to me.
Maybe this would be a point to wrap it up here for tonight. Yeah, we've been going well, but if we do wrap up now, we'll be over 2.5 hours by the time everybody's had their final words.
Yep.
Okay, so Jenny, you have any final words about National Women's Day or anything?
No, it's International Women's Day. Respect women. Say hi. Don't do anything stupid. and put the seat down and wipe it clean. No, that's about it. Tomorrow, I'm on some show or other. Purple's got some details on that, so I'll be quiet. And
Okay.
when are you going to set up a Twitter account for me to give me so I can get back on Twitter?
Yeah, I need a disposable phone number. I wonder if I can do it without them verifying the phone. If I can use a disconnected phone number. I'll have to try that. Yeah, Mark, I miss having a fireplace. Yeah, when I had a wood-burning fireplace, I knew how to cook in that. I could make complete dinners in the fireplace, like you say, just letting it die down and just putting a pan on the coals. We only made you an hour late, Tina.
Nice
Okay,
to meet
Mage.
you. Nice to meet you, Tina.
I've got quite a bit on my plate. I've got a first reaction video to the bat guano I ordered that finally showed up yesterday. I've got a live stream scheduled for tomorrow at noon Eastern Standard Time. I'm gonna be on REHE podcast this weekend sometime. It seems talking about evolution, and shooting for it. I haven't quite. I'm hoping I can get it for the 18th on Saturday for another live stream on my gardening channel with Bree from Hive Science.
That sounds like fun. What are you and Bree going to be covering?
We're going to be talking about bugs in the garden.
Butts in the garden?
Bugs.
Bugs.
Oh,
Creepy
bugs.
crawlies. Spiders.
Gosh.
Ladybugs.
Yeah, I'm sure Bree will
aphids.
be concentrating on which ones are actually helpful.
Yeah.
Well, we've got Sylvia, but I guess we don't have Diana here, so.
Well, I'm going to go.
Okay,
Yep.
yep. I'll just be doing my usual stuff, so we'll be back here tomorrow night at 10. Oh, that's about it for me for online, so.
Bye-bye, Diana. She might have said bye, but she's muted.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh.
So appreciate all of you coming and hanging out with us. And oh God, is YouTube being slow today?
Not for me. See you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Later.
Maybe it's my browser. I just wanted to thank all my supporters, Skitscrasher and the Lavender Lady, Kitty the Atheist, Robert X, Greg Hartwick, Southern Cell and Vonrek. I appreciate you people helping to pay my internet bill so I can keep doing this all the time. So with that, we will bid you all goodbye, and we will see you tomorrow night.